It's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd online shop, and I'm going to be creating a double page layout using one of my go-to designs. I'm going to be featuring material from Vicki Boutin Fernwood Collection. I find this collection really a day-to-day type collection. It's really quite versatile. I'm going to be documenting a walk in the woods, and on this day we got lost and found our way back because I made an arrow from sticks that pointed us in the right direction. That's my story anyway. Here are the supplies I'm going to be using that I've selected from the Fernwood Collection. It's all from the Fernwood Collection except I added some basil marshmallow cardstock. All of this came from the Scrapbook Nerd online shop, so I'm going to link up the shop as well as the products I use in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get started. So here's what's on my desk, and you can see I've already worked on my foundation page. So it's going to be a 24 by 12 canvas, and you can see that on the left, I already prepared a frame style foundation with 3 sheets of paper, and I gutted 2 of them. You may notice the white cardstock goes right to the middle, and also the outer white corners, I rounded them with a corner rounder. For the right-hand page, I prepared a half frame style foundation. You can see that on the far right. There are 3 layers. I did not gut them. And what I did was I adhered them on top of a piece of paper that's going to be completely covered. So I found something that I didn't like so that I could just cover it up. Later on, the part in the middle there, that's going to be covered up with patterned paper. So I showed you a bunch of photos there. I have 6, so 5 are horizontal and 1 is vertical. I'm showing you the other papers I have. That dark paper there, that's actually a dark wood grain. That's in the foundation page from the Fernwood Collection. And this is the other one from the Fernwood Collection. So basically what you're seeing here is what I have left from the foundation page, the pieces that I've gutted and all of that kind of stuff. From that paper, I cut myself out 6 photo mats. So 3 in the darker paper, 3 in the lighter paper. And I do have some other papers on my desk as well. You're going to see in a moment. I have a 6 by 8 paper pad from Simple Stories. That is the Color Vibe Woods collection. I often use that actually in the 12 by 12 format. It's the first time I have a 6 by 8 format. One side is a wood grain motif. The flip side is either lined paper or graph paper. And I'm going to be using that to create a journaling box later on. And that circle motif paper, again, it's from the Fernwood Collection. Now before starting, I'm just going to show you I have a tray where I keep all of my embellishments. And again, most of them are from the Fernwood Collection here. I have chipboard, I have alphas, I have ephemera pieces, the journaling bits pack. I also have some stickers. The only thing that's not from the Fernwood Collection are those enamel dots, and I don't end up using them. So basically I'm using all Fernwood here today. Now what I'm going to do is cut up a bunch of papers to layer on top of my foundation page. And this part, which lasts about 20 seconds, is pretty quick. And in a moment, I will slow it down and you will see all of the page parts that I've cut. And I will also put measurements on the screen. So it's going to make sense to you in a moment. But basically what I'm doing is cutting up page parts to create a go-to design. It's one I use frequently when I create a double page spread. So basically what I'm doing with these 2 papers here is creating a map that's going to span across the 2 pages. But in between it, there is going to be this vertical border with that craft colored paper there, that kind of distressed paper. I did add a little border to that craft vertical border there, the one with kind of like semicircles in it, and you can kind of see how that map that's on the left hand page goes over onto the right, but it looks like it passes right underneath that vertical border there. This is one, like I mentioned, I use all the time. The idea here is I'm going to place a border of photos along that vertical border there. So I'm lining up the mats. I'm going to line up the photos here. I like how this looks because it changes things up a bit as opposed to just having a mat that spans across the two pages. That vertical border kind of breaks things up a bit, and it's also a great place to put 3 photos. So it's a great layout if you have lots of photos. For the placement of the photos on the left-hand page, honestly, you can do them any way you want depending on the photos that you have. I have 2 horizontal and 1 vertical, so I'm just kind of making a grouping there. Now you could also do this with 4 small photos, 2 photos. You could do it with 1 large photo. Really, it's really quite versatile as a design. What I'm going to do now is, actually what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of doubting my photo mat decision. So I'm adding white behind some of those photos to the mats over on the left-hand page, wondering if that will help make them stand out a bit more. But I quickly decide that it makes it stand out in a way that I don't like it. So I know I want to do something to those photos over there, but I don't want to add the white to it. So I'm going to worry about that later on. Right now, what I'm going to do is mat my photos. So I'm adhering the mats and the photos together, and I stop the film and I continue doing that. But what I did do for the photos on the left-hand page, for the 2 horizontal photos, I just matted them like I had planned to do. But for the vertical photo, which is kind of my focal point photo, I added 3 extra layers of scrap cardstock underneath. So it's going to kind of pop off the page a bit and stand out a little bit more than the other photos. And that's what I want. That is the photo of the arrow and the path. So it's kind of what my story is about. Now, right now, what I'm going to do is start adhering these page pieces together, and then what I will do is trim them down a bit and put them on the page, adhere them to the page. So I start by adhering those 2 pieces together to create the mat. I'm doing it with 2 papers here, and the size is determined because of those circles. So I guess what I'm pointing out here is that I am putting measurements on the screen for what I'm doing, but you can change it up a bit depending on the number of photos you have or the paper you have. I wanted, for example, all of those circles to be visible. I didn't want half circles to be there. That is why I cut that circle paper in the size that I did. So now I trimmed everything down here and I'm adhering the pieces to the page. Now when I adhere that mat on the page, I'm adhering it more towards the bottom than the top. You can see that. I do that on both sides as well. I don't make you watch all of that, but I continued adhering. So you can see my right-hand side is all adhered, and now I'm adhering the photos. And I will do the same for the photos on the left-hand page, except I'm not going to adhere the vertical photo. I'm going to leave that loose because I'm going to wait to do my embellishing. I just want to place a few things before I actually commit to adhering that vertical photo to the page. What I need to do now is establish a spot for my journaling as well as my title. So I have my Big Shot out. I have that 6x8 paper pad from Simple Stories from the Woods collection, and I have a die from Elizabeth Craft Designs that I use all the time. It's a planner page. These planner pages, there are many different ones and many of them are in the shop. So even if this one isn't available, other ones are available. And basically what changes is the position of the tab on the planner page. Also the accompanying dies. You can see there in the top left, my die set comes with leaves, but other planner page die sets come with other accompanying pieces. So you can see where I plan to place my journaling box. It's also going to be a nice layering piece and a base layer for my embellishment clusters. I'm getting out my embellishing around me now, and I'm just kind of spreading it out. At this point, I decide for my title, I'm going to use the word beautiful day that is on the chipboard sticker sheet. That's why I put aside the alphas from this collection. Before continuing though, I do know my journaling box is going to go there, so I adhered it and I'm happy with that. And now I have some wax paper and I'm just going to get out a few things. So I'm getting out the word beautiful day from the chipboard sheet. And I typically do this when I create a double page spread. I'm going to start building clusters in opposite corners. I immediately took off the chipboard camera from that sheet as well because it's the same colors as the title. So I know I want a repetition of that in the opposite corner. So even though it's a smaller piece, I put it on wax paper down there in the bottom right. And then what I started doing was layering up the bigger ephemera pieces. So I made a cluster there in the bottom right with that film strip, a clipboard, and a tag. Now I'm working in the opposite corner on the bottom, so the bottom left. I added another kind of like a journaling box there. It has the word notes, and I layered it up behind that photo there. And I also put that little black piece, it's like a vellum piece, and it says taking the unexpected path, which was kind of perfect for this story. So even though I know I have to come in and add some finishing touches, at this point I know the big pieces. I know where they're going to go. So I decide at this point to adhere them all down. You can see me adhering over there on the right. I pop that camera up on foam adhesive. Now I'm committing to that photo. So I'm adhering that down there. And then I will adhere the pieces in the bottom right, as on bottom left, I'm sorry, as well. At this point, I don't adhere that black vellum piece because vellum is a bit weird to adhere. So I'm just going to wait to see if I actually adhere anything else in that corner. And now what you see me doing is adhering the title. So I'm putting the word day on top of the photo, and the word beautiful, I actually pop it up on foam adhesive. That's what you see me doing right now. So now the main part of my page is done, but I do want to come in and add some smaller bits here. I'm looking through that little sticker book because there are a lot of smaller things in there. I'm thinking I want to add something to that open area, that little area of trapped space between the two pages, kind of on the left page in the bottom right. And I'm looking there, and eventually you're going to see I come in with a piece of vellum and then a little word that says loving every minute, because it's like a little strip of words. I'm liking that because in that photo I'm quite proud pointing to my arrow, which in my version of the story is what helped us get out of the woods. So I layer that up there and I'm happy with that, and I'm going to adhere that to the page. Again, I'm just adding a little bit of adhesive on that vellum strip that is overlapped by that chipboard piece that says loving every minute, because when you adhere vellum pieces to a page, you got to be kind of strategic so that the adhesive doesn't show through. At this point, I feel like I need something up by the title, but I don't know what. I'm liking my page, but I want something up there. I feel like it's really, really open. I also know I want something in the tab in that journaling box there. So I showed you a stamp set that I actually use quite frequently from Elizabeth Craft Designs. I think it is called Vacay Phrases. I will write it in the description box below, but it has a lot of nice small words. So I'm using this VersaFine Clair ink in black, and I'm just stamping "This is Us" in that tab, and I'm happy with that. But I definitely want to put something up there by the title, but I'm not quite sure what. So I'm getting out that sticker book there. These are like little washi strips, and I'm getting out a few of them and I'm putting them there. And when I look at them on camera, they seem to look fine to me, but you're going to see in a moment, I peeled them off. They peeled off very, very easily, and I end up adding a piece of chipboard instead underneath that title, Beautiful Day. And you'll just see that in a moment, but I'm basically done here. And what I ended up doing off camera was adding my journaling, of course, and I did remove those washi strips from above the title, and I replaced it with that piece of chipboard beneath the title. It says Lost and Found, so it was just kind of perfect for my story. But that's it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, we would be thrilled if you did. And the same thing for my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec. Don't forget to check out the shop. These for all of these fun supplies and more. There's new stuff coming all the time. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.